Bases dropped. Let me back up here once again. I always have to figure out where things are when it comes to my headroom. So there we go. Bases dropped on a Monday here at Soccer Down Here. It's halftime of the 8 o'clock game, 8 o'clock Eastern game. And England is pretty much putting on a show against Iran. And it'll be interesting to see if the papers and publications and who is in charge of reporting on the match story with England and Iran, what image you pick, because it has been that first half. It's been that kind of a first half. Yes, Ricky Ricardo, it is match day. We'll be talking about that and anything else going on your mind. We've got opening kickoff. We've got stuff that has happened heading into this first match. There's stuff that isn't happening in this first match and won't be happening unless folks want to get yellow cards. So there's plenty to talk about when it comes to 3-0 on the match that you might be watching or you might not be watching the second half. We'll get you ready for the other matches today. There are 2. Traditionally, there are going to be 4 matches during a match day. 5 o'clock Eastern time, which none of us will be awake for. 8 o'clock Eastern time, which we will always be here right about halftime, start of the second half, and we'll kind of keep an eye on what's going on with that 8 o'clock match, and we'll preview what's going on with 11 and 2. 11 o'clock match today, Senegal and the Netherlands. Juice boxes right now have the Netherlands at a minus 147. Your draw is a plus 263. Senegal is a plus 488. And for the USA and Wales, U.S. is a plus 139. Your 90-minute draw is a plus 209, and Wales are a plus 234. Unless, of course, they get another speech, and they might be really fired up. And I know that one of the topics of conversation this morning is the keeper situation with Iran and concussion protocols and the silliness attached to that. Abby, turned the England game on just prior to them losing their goalie, meaning Iran. And you had a 14 minutes, 1-4, 14 minutes of added time because of the distress that the Iranian keeper was in a concussion evaluation situation. And for whatever reason, Christopher Abel, don't know. But I have a black helicopter theory that I'll get into in just a second. 14 minutes after a concussion evaluation. And it was deemed after the initial concussion evaluation and the spritzing of water in the keeper's face by the team captain that he was safe to continue. And it was apparent that he really was not. So after a couple of minutes and one other English offensive rush, laid back down, and he was done, and you had a substitute. So, you can't have that. You just can't. Bottom line, you cannot have that. So 14 minutes of added time. Yeah, it was nasty. And, keeping an eye out for the player's best interest in this kind of a situation, 14 minutes of added time and a goalkeeper substitution for Carlos Queiroz and the Iranian squad, which did not sing their national anthem. And there were signs inside the stadium as well on behalf of Iranian women. And we'll get into the armband thing here in just a little bit. Ticketing issues for the second match, and you're trying to get into the arena, and no, Abby, definitely not. The safety of the player was not taken into consideration here, and Iran looked completely outclassed in the first 45 minutes. So it was, it was a long first half for Iran for a bunch of different reasons. Yeah, I know, Michael. I know. You can't have that, yet the instances continue. I know. And, It's just it's disappointing. It's distressing. Take your pick. So the ticketing situation, you wonder if it was resolved where the England and Iran fans got to wander into the stadium with the tickets that they had purchased, or if they were still outside, or what the resolution has been. Other things that were going on, you had, go ahead and get into the armband issue here. You had the idea of an instant yellow card for a team captain if they were wearing the One Love armband. Like I said, Alex Scott from the BBC was wearing the One Love armband pre-match, and here are the principles attached to. It's the Iranian medical staff, Christopher. So, yeah, and Abby, a yellow card for the cost of wearing an armband. Too much to wear the band. Sucks that FIFA's doing that. It's corrupt all the way through. So here's the principle. Law 4 applies to all equipment, including clothing worn by players, substitutes, and substituted players. Principles also apply to team officials in the technical area. The following are usually permitted: players' number, name, team crest, logo, initiative, slogans, emblems promoting the game of football, respect, integrity, as well as any advertising permitted by competition rules or national FA, confederation, or FIFA regulations. The facts of a match, team's date, competition, event, or venue. Permitted slogans, statements, or images should be confined to the shirt front and or armband. In some cases, the slogan, statement, or image might only appear on the captain's armband. Section 5, slogans, statements, images, and advertising. Equipment must not have any political, religious, or personal slogans, statements, or images. Players must not reveal undergarments that show political, religious, personal slogans, statements, or images, or advertising other than the manufacturer's logo. For any offense, the player and or the team will be sanctioned by the competition organizer, National Football Association, or by FIFA. When commemorating a significant national or international event, the sensibilities of the opposing team, including its supporters and the general public, should be carefully considered. So that was where the armband ended up, and you ended up with the exceedingly generic no discrimination on the arm of Harry Kane, because that one was sanctioned. There are several generic thoughts that are allowed on armbands, and initially I think it was only slated for like the round of 16 for no discrimination, but it has ended up being okay for this round. 7 teams were set to take the field and warned that they would immediately be shown. The 7 European sides, displays are a violation of the rules, and you had that going on. Captains of the 7 European nations had vowed to wear the One Love campaign, promoting inclusion and diversity in soccer and society, and that set up the prospect of viewers worldwide seeing a symbol of disapproval, and this is from the Score, with the host country in defiance of FIFA on the armband of folks like Harry Kane, Virgil van Dijk, and Gareth Bale today. But in the end, the team said they couldn't sacrifice success on the field. A yellow card, once again, as a warning. And and this is also different, Abby, where this go around, it is 2. It is only 2 yellow cards that will get you into a match suspension. So, proposal announced on Saturday was for captains to wear armbands with socially aware, though generic, slogans. In that offer, armbands reading no discrimination, the only one of its chosen slogan aligned with the European team's wish, would appear only at the quarterfinal stage. Today, it offered a compromise saying captains of all 32 teams will have the opportunity to wear an armband with the slogan of no discrimination. So, yes, it's only 2 this go around. Legitimately, Christopher, if you ended up with a suspension out of the blocks if you're a team captain, or if you're a yellow card out of the blocks as team captain in your first match, then you pick up a yellow in the second match. For your deciding match in group, you, in theory, could be having a guaranteed suspension. So that was that definitely was. Normally, I thought, Abby, it was 3. 1, 2, and 3. You end up getting 1. You go 1, 2, and 3. But now, apparently, this go round, it's only 2. So that's what that's what you were hunting for. And also, apparently, this morning, and I have seen it in Tom Morgan, the sports news correspondent at the Telegraph. He is outside the venue in Qatar, and the feed showed Harry Kane taking a knee on the side screen that he was watching, but fans at the main screen saying it went blank for 10 to 15 seconds. So the fans outside the venue in Doha were unaware the players took a knee at all. Others were claiming the feed cut out for nothing like 15 seconds, more like 5. They saw the first bit showing Kane getting on one knee. It's an international feed rather than Qatari. So you had, and so Iran has made 3 subs after their 14 minutes, and Carlos Queiroz, and definitely trying to look for something that is going on there. But now pictures are starting to come out from the anthem where the Iran National Football Club refused to sing their anthem with the first match in active protest against Khamenei's regime. So you have all of that stuff going on in the first 45 minutes of day 2. And we can get into day 1. And what I wanted to do this morning was, obviously, we've got a match at 2 o'clock. And what I wanted to do is ask you guys what you are most concerned about. And this was a question that I asked last week. And now that we've had a couple of different folks on the network to discuss, we've got the match going on right now, and it's in the 48th minute, England leading 3-0. With the match coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon, when it comes to the United States, what are you the most confident about? What are you the most concerned about when it comes to Wales? What are you the most confident about? What are you the most concerned about? So let me see if I can do something here. I'm going to create a banner. How about this? QOD. Concerns, confidence with USMNT versus Wales. All right, so here we go. And so there you go. There's your question of the day. Concerns and confidence with the U.S. men's national team against Wales. What are you guys most concerned about? What are you guys most confident about when it comes to the USMNT? And thanks to our friends at Olive in New York. I saw this in the Declaration of Independence version. I had to jump on it. So if I hadn't figured out where this was, I probably would have been wearing my Ecuadorian my Ecuadorian jersey. Sorry about that. My Ecuadorian jersey. After what happened yesterday, Ecuador with a 2-0 win over the hosts. I think it's the first time that that a host nation has lost. Let's see. Abby listened to the game yesterday on the drive home, so they have cameras all over every stadium for VAR. That's going to be an interesting look. I want to see what the rundown is for every stadium. Is every stadium different? Because remember, not all the stadiums. You have, I think, 2 that are actually going to stay. So that's 2 stadia that are going to still be. One is host of the national team, those kinds of things. So the 2 stadia, are they the ones that are more equipped or all 8 equipped? And we'll keep an eye on that. Most concerned, Michael Head, can the U.S. score? There you go. You are not the only one where that is concerned. Sorry for the reuse of the word. That is your concern is equal to a lot of others, Michael. Let me phrase it that way early on a Monday morning. So can the U.S. score? And knowing that Wales, and when Jarrett joins us, he will probably sit there and he will walk us through Wales and sit there and go, Wales is probably going to want to turn this into a fight in a mud pit. And it will not be the prettiest thing in the world. And the Wales will try to take that one opportunity and be clinical with it. So that's where the U.S. is concerned. Christopher Abel, most confident about the midfield trio of McKinney, Adams, and Musa. Most concerned about Gareth Bale scoring the goal of the century in the U.S. center back pairing. So once again, it's MMA. That's the other interesting part of this. What is the lineup going to look like in the midfield? Is Aronson there? Is Musa there? What does it look like with the U.S. in the midfield for this particular match? So we'll keep an eye on the lineup there, but we can get into that once again. That's the other thing. Give me your starting 11s. When it comes to your starting 11 today, later this afternoon, what is your starting 11? Your starting 11, please tell me I want to know. So your starting 11, concerns, confidence. That's what we're getting into. Abby getting in here this morning. Concerns, scoring and defensive mistakes. And obviously Wales will want to deny the first and pounce on the second. And once again, this seems to be the common thread this morning, but I'm going to continue to ask it for folks that keep popping in and they want to sit there and, they've joined late because they're watching the match with England, 52nd minute, and it's still 3-0. David, okay. You and your daughter played FIFA this morning to prep. U.S. beats Wales 1-0. An 80th minute Musa winner. Mark it down. We will. So, yeah, if David, if this happens, if this in fact happens, then here's what we do. You and your daughter have to play every single match ahead of matches that we want to talk about. Obviously, all of the U.S. matches, but at the same time, if there are other wild card matches that you guys want to play, let us know. So if this happens, if it's 1-0, if the U.S. wins, and it is on an 80th minute Yunus Musa goal, you realize you're going to have to play every single match where the U.S. is concerned, as far as they go, every single match. So, so we will mark it down, David. Rest assured, we will mark it down. Abby wants to score at least a goal. Yes, and deny Wales the opportunity from scoring any kind of goals on their own. So Christopher Abel's in this morning with his starting 11. Turner in goal, backline left to right. Jedi, Tim Ream, Walker Zimmerman, Serginho Dest. He's got an MMA midfield, Musa, McKinney, and Adams. Pulisic on the right, Reyna on the left, Ferreira up top. So that's what Christopher Abel is looking at this morning when it comes to his starting 11. Like I said, let me know what your starting 11, what you're looking at, and what you would like to see the starting 11 to be. I'm not listening to the broadcast, Abby, so I don't know. I don't know how he is, but true, yes, absolutely. But I'm not aware of this because, once again, if we had it on the background, we might get bumped off the air. So yesterday, when it came to the match in and of itself, I actually watched Telemundo. And Andres Cantor, by the way, he is in rare form, the rarest of rare. He is already in knockout stage form. His goal call yesterday, the first one, 17 seconds on the holding of the note. 17 seconds when he was shouting his goal call, he held it for 17 seconds. And then, you know how he warms up? It's like 6 or 7 seconds. And then he hits the long version. So you got the short version, like 6 or 7 seconds, that got him into the long version. 17 seconds on the hold note. So well done. And Abby wants part of Major Leagues United, Major League Soccer, to be a part. He wants the Energizer Bunny, Brendan Aronson, to start. Once again, you're not the only one. So let me know what your starting 11 is in your head. And also, concerns. What are you the most concerned about? What are you the most confident about when it comes to the USMNT and Wales? So that's the biggest stuff going on here. We've got a save in the 55th, quick outlet, and let's see what Iran can do in transition. Once again, 55th minute. Goals by Bellingham in the 35th, Saka on the 43rd, Sterling at 45 plus 1, and that has gotten us to that was on the Andres Cantor call. No, it was on the legit one. It was on the Ecuadorian penalty. And yeah, I mean, it was because I think if I remember correctly, it wasn't a full 17. I think that because of the first one, I think he led into it and it wasn't as long. But the Ecuadorian penalty, if my memory serves, it was 17 seconds on the goal. So he was rocking and rolling. And that's why I always enjoy looking at anything, any rights holder that I can watch, I'll try to watch just to kind of get the different vibes and see what's going on. But looking forward to seeing Derek Ray call matches at this particular World Cup. Dark and Donovan seem to be already in a good rhythm with their work. I don't think Landon's doing every match with Ian. I think that Mo Adu is getting some reps as well when it comes to it. But yeah. So once again, it's going to be interesting watching all of this. So it'll be fun. But like I said, I watched Telemundo yesterday for the 1-0 win, and like I said, personal preference. Like I said, I did not watch any of the pregame wraparound programming just because I wasn't interested. And like I said, I probably will start watching most matches from a Telemundo perspective and then roll over to American television. But I have zero interest in watching anything going on in a pre or a post show, anything like that. Did not watch any of it. But I do feel for Rob Stone. Rob Stone and Story Time with John. When I was starting out in my time at Georgia Public Broadcasting, and it was very, very early in my career there, there was a sports anchor and what we used to do as a part of our coverage of high school football around the state when we had the half-hour show that was weekly. What we would do is we would have anchors from around the state cut like a minute worth of highlights, and then they would send it to us. They'd overnight it to us. And that shows you how long ago this was. They would overnight us the highlights, and we would plug the highlights into the show. And then, it's like, and you toss to so-and-so, and it's like, here's Frank Lloyd, 13 WMAZ. Here's John Hart at WJBF in Augusta. There was a young sports anchor who worked at the Fox affiliate in Albany, Georgia. And you could tell that he had it. Whatever it was, he had it. And it was Rob Stone. And so Rob Stone, on some very, very early editions of the half-hour show that we used to do at Georgia Public Broadcasting having to do with high school sports, Rob was on it. And so Rob got, halfway into show number 1 before he lost his voice. And I think Rob did Big Noon Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he did Big Noon Saturday and then left Big Noon Saturday and then came to Doha. So I absolutely feel for him. And then that meant that Alexi Lawless and Tom Rinaldi took over hosting duties from that moment forward yesterday. But, yeah, absolutely feel for Rob Stone about going into the first show and losing your voice. So that's been, what we've seen so far with the Fox coverage. Had zero interest in any kind of watching of it at all. So that's only question number 4. Question number 4 for the morning. What's your viewing habits? Are you guys watching one network over another? Are you watching multiple networks? What else is going on when it comes to your viewing habits? And what are you doing today? Are you going to be at home? Are you going to go to a viewing party? Are you still working, trying to crash everything in before Wednesday? That's the biggest stuff, I guess. What are your viewing habits as we get closer and closer to Thursday? And as we get closer and closer to Thursday, let's see. Oh, let me get into programming for the week now that I'm thinking about it. It'll be normal today, normal tomorrow, normal on Wednesday, but Dylan Butler, if he wishes to come on at 10 o'clock, will be the end of the show because I have to race into Georgia Public because everything has slid a day. So it'll be normal Monday, normal Tuesday, 90 minutes on Wednesday. And, Christopher Abel, good to know that. BBC 5's radio website. That's a good one. I'll have to remember that one too. So Thursday we won't be live, but what I'm going to effort to do is one of two things. Every single day there'll be some kind of a short wrap-up that'll post to the network about the matches that happened, and you guys can listen to that as a part of everything else going on with the morning show here and anything and everything else that's going on. Thursday will just be the wrap-up show because of Thanksgiving. We wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving now, and we'll continue to do so all week long. And then Friday, we will be back to do the morning show. Then we have the event at Wild Heaven, which Bart Keeler will talk about when he pops in this week. And we will continue to promote that, and we'll be there for that, and I'll be there for a while, and we'll be there, and then I'll go and do high school football and things like that. So that's your programming grid for the week here. Morning shows, except for Thursday, varying lengths. Wrap-up shows at the end of the day, might be some quotes, and you get I think we're noon to 2, Abby. I think that's when this is. I think we're noon to 2 is when the show is, so it would be in the 11 o'clock hour. And England has just scored a fourth with 30 minutes to go. So 4-0 for England over Iran. And the question now is Saka looks like he has scored his second. If you're Gareth Southgate, do you start pulling players? Start to give other guys some reps, like a Calvin Phillips? Do you start to do that? Because right now it's at 4-0, 30 minutes to go. And Iran is just stretched and just, that's a great individual effort by Saka to turn it to his left foot and beat the keeper. So 30 minutes to go, and this really could get ugly and a half for Iran. I mean, right now, Iran at -4, they've got to get something in the back of the net somewhere or legitimately deflection. But legitimately, their tournament could be over after today. And so that's the fourth time that England has scored 4 or more goals in the World Cup. So Bellingham, Saka, Sterling all in the first half, and then Saka with a brace in the 62nd. So that's, and Christopher Abel, you're not wrong. England's basically one goal difference tiebreak at this point. No way the U.S. has the firepower to replicate this in Game 3. But let me present this to you. Let me posit this to you, Christopher. If the tournament for Iran is over, what does Carlos Queiroz do in that third match? Does he put in young guys? Does he put out his veterans to sit there and continue to represent his country in 3 matches across the board? What does Iran look like in that third match? So we'll see. I mean, it's an intro. Like I said, the math will be interesting in this group. And then everybody might be sitting there trying to figure out if they can put a number on Iran. And if the U.S. can try to do something like that, we'll see. I want to see what the lineup looks like, obviously, as we get to that third match. But we will see what the lineup looks like. But, yeah, England right now, okay, fire wagon change for England. It looks like Saka's day is done, or somebody's day is done. Hang on. All right, so we're waiting on a substitution. So the substitution will come up here in short order. And so that's what we're waiting on to see who's in and who's out with about 25 to go. And if I'm the center ref in this match, I don't do any extra time. I don't. You're done. You're done at this point. And what you end up doing is, you're prolonging the agony and the inevitability. True. And David, you want to match what everybody else is doing. Just beat them. Tiebreakers don't matter. You beat them and you try to put up a number. And Iran has just scored. So now Iran is in the 65th minute, and they have just scored off of a throw. And England's back line of 4. Let's see how they got this worked in here with the left. Decent chip and wow, that's good. That's good work. Into the upper corner. Great pass and just lifted over Jordan Pickford. That's a great ball. So good work by Iran to get one on the board and get one back with 25 to go. So Christopher Abel, if he had to guess, Iran plays ultra defensive and tries to knock out the U.S. Yeah, especially given the political situation between the countries. That always has that underpinning and the undercurrent that's attached. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And so 4-1 right now with a goal on the board for the Iranians. Once again, 25 to go. And it looks like Harry Maguire is now down, getting a look with It looks like he's getting looked at by the physio, and we haven't seen a replay on the Maguire injury. So we'll see if we do get a look at what happened with Harry Maguire. It looks like a clash of heads, and so they're trying to look at Harry Maguire. I still wouldn't have. I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like, Abby. So they're trying to see. We still have yet to see a replay on it, but we'll keep an eye. When they do get a replay, then we'll see if we can determine what's going on with Harry Maguire. But frankly, like I said, if I'm Garrett Southgate once again, I would err on the side of safety. It's a 4-1 match. There's 25 to go, and yeah, they are. Abby, you are absolutely correct. Replay's hard to come by with the international feed so far. And yeah, Christopher, if Iranian gets another one, England might have to sweat it out a little bit. So it looks like Foden and Grealish are part of a proposed fire wagon change by Gareth Southgate in England. And so Harry Maguire does not look 100%, rubbing his forehead and holding his temple. So we'll see what the decision is here with Harry Maguire. And like I said, we'll keep an eye on it. We also had, like I said, we had substitutions that were planned for England. And it looks like Eric Dyer and Maguire. No, Harry Maguire is heading straight to the locker room. So, yeah, his day is done. Yes, absolutely, Christopher, we are. Absolutely. As you should be. So you're looking for changes right now with England, and it looks like it's going to be Dyer and Foden as 2 and Grealish and Marcus Rashford. So Rashford, Foden, Grealish with 22 to go. England has been trying to get the substitutions in, and Dyer. So it looks like 4 substitutions, 3 that would be applied to the subs, and Dyer would be the concussion substitution. He would be the head injury substitution that wouldn't count against your number. So, true, absolutely. Yeah, he is being subbed, and like I said, also being safe up by 3. So, but the way that Harry Maguire did not look 100%, and he was just walking straight down the tunnel. So we'll keep an eye, obviously, on that. So those are the substitutions that are being planned for England and Gareth Southgate. Once again, 3 of them count against your number. One of them, the Dyer substitution, would be your concussion sub for Maguire. I think that's what the discussion is right now. And Jordan Pickford was wondering when they were going to be allowed to get the substitutions done, specifically the concussion sub for Maguire, because they were playing with 10 for a handful of minutes, and Eric Dyer is finally now on for England. So, Jordan Pickford was less than happy about that. So you're now getting your substitutions. So the concussion sub, Dyer for Maguire is on. And so now we're finally getting the substitutions with Foden, Grealish, and Rashford coming in. So we'll see whose days are done. And it looks like Sterling's day is done. It looks like Saka's day is done. And so now we're waiting for substitution number 3. And we'll see what the substitutions are with 20 to go, with England up 4-1 over Iran. Yeah, so Grealish is in, Foden is in, Rashford is in. Those are your 3 non-concussion substitutions. So Saka, Mount, Sterling, and Maguire are off. Rashford, Foden, Grealish, and Dyer are in. So that's your final. Your rundown of your fire wagon change. Christopher Abel, at this point, you're just rooting for an England red card. Okay, so Christopher, I don't know who are you rooting for? Number 1? That's the big question here. Yeah, they'll be scoring again, kind of like right now. That wasted no time whatsoever. So, Abby's right on. So, Abby, I think you need to continue talking these kinds of things. So, thank you. Rashford scores. So he's on for like less than a minute, and it's now 5. So they got the 4-goal margin back. Long ball settled, and they're just absolutely destroying the Iranian left-hand side defensively at the back. So well done by Rashford. Cuts it back to his left, past the defender, past the keeper. It's in. It's 5 and with 20 to go. Okay, so that's where they are. So that's what. So the 4-goal margin is back with 20 minutes to go. And I still, if I'm the center ref, I would not do any kind of extra time at all, considering what has been going on here today. All right, so getting into the other news of later today. Gareth Bale says his fitness is right where I want to be. Joe Allen is going to miss the Welsh World Cup opener against the United States. Only started 2 matches, majority 347 minutes coming off the bench. But Wales captain says that he's in fine shape. Quote, I'm right where I want to be. I'm here, ready to go. We've all been training hard in the last week, adapting to the heat and the time zone. No excuses. Because also remember, they're the late game tonight. They would be kicking off at 10 o'clock Eastern time with the match going on at or 10 o'clock local time, 2 o'clock here. So 10 o'clock, it's an 8-hour time difference, Eastern time zone. So 10 o'clock local time in Qatar, 2 o'clock Eastern time here in the United States. So 8-hour time difference. And so at least it won't be as hot, in quotation marks, as we're looking at what's going on. No excuses, put up all the hard work, game time. Hopefully we can step up, deliver what needs to be delivered. Bale's brief spell in the States gave him a good look at what he is anticipating from the United States. Quote, I have some experience of playing against and with some of the U.S. team. They're a good young squad with some fantastic players, and we're under no illusions that they're here to win the game just as we are. We know their weaknesses. I can't share them with you right now. As long as we stick to our game plan and do what we do, we'll be okay. Bales has been obviously the talisman for Wales for over a decade. Quote, as a kid, you dream of seeing Wales in a World Cup, but to actually be in the team that achieves it's an incredible feeling and honor to be able to do it for your country. Going to be a fun time for us, hopefully one that we want to enjoy and have fun on the pitch as we always do for the national team. And, and then Bale, once again, he said all the right things as team captain. Wales boss Rob Page doesn't want to push Joe Allen to play against the United States and risk losing him for the entire tournament. Midfielder hasn't played since September after injuring his hamstring, and a return for the opening match is still too soon. Page was asked about it, and he said from the start, we're going to give every possible chance that we can to get him to play that first game. He's probably not going to make it. We could have pushed him, but if it breaks down, then he's definitely out of the tournament, let alone the second game. Risk and reward, we'd like to have had him for the first game, but we're not going to push him to the point of completely losing him. So that's the look for Rob Page on Joe Allen. And, so keep the boys on a time zone closer, but not on Qatar. Have it as a 6 or a 7 game. I think he'll be fit enough to start. Because I think that as, the guy, Christopher, I think that, and that'll do for Harry Kane. So that brings in Callum Wilson. So I think that is now, I think that's it for substitutions for England in this one. But Bale, is he going to be fit enough to start? I think so, because, it's the first match for the World Cup. And what is the optic if Gareth Bale is your guy? He's your talisman. He's your number one dude. And then you end up with nothing happening. He doesn't play. He doesn't start. What does that say about the first time that you're in the World Cup in a very long time and your talisman doesn't start? So, I think that he'll give you everything in this one, considering what we're seeing from Iran. he might start and maybe only give you 60. I think that that's the other element in this for the coaching staff and Rob Page. I think for Bale, you start against the United States, and then obviously you start against England, and then you figure out how many minutes against Iran do you sit him, depending on your situation. You figure out what's going on where with Gareth Bale, and then you plug and play it from there. Abby, with the other major question for the day, where's everyone going to watch today's match? I will be in studio at Georgia Public taping things, considering we only have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. So you're going to have to all live vicariously for me. I will live through you vicariously for figuring out what's going to be going on, what's going to be going on where. So, yeah, where is everyone going to be watching the match today? That is the big question. And so that's the biggest part in all of this. Where are you going to watch the match? So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So let everybody know. Abby is letting everybody know once again that American Outlaws are at Fido Midtown. Cooligans are at Park Tavern. So we'll keep an eye on that. So let everybody else know. Share your experiences and let everybody know where you are going to be when it comes to this match. And we'll see what's up. Christopher Abel, I feel like the U.S. Wales game is basically 2 versus 3. Yeah, and I think that's spot on. Whoever wins this one likely is ready to go through alongside England. So, no, I think you're spot on there. Let's see. Getting into what we were looking at this morning, we were discussing the armband. Article by Rafa Honigstein at The Athletic that came out within the hour. The president of German FA has accused FIFA of, quote, an unprecedented demonstration of power after players did not wear the One Love armband at the World Cup. European nations who were planning to have their captains wear the armband as a protest against discrimination backed down Monday morning. Bernd Neuendorf, the German FA president, has insisted his nation will still put forward the values they stand for at the competition. Quote, FIFA have prevented a statement for human rights and diversity. These are values that they pledge to uphold in their own statutes. That's more than frustrating and unprecedented. In our view, this is a show of power from FIFA. They told us we were facing sporting sanctions for wearing the armband. A remarkable event a few hours before Harry Kane and Virgil van Dijk were to step on the pitch. We didn't want this conflict being fought on the backs of players and expose the players to this risk. They can take our armband, but we will continue to express the values we stand for. It was right to take the decision together with the other Europeans. We, meaning the Europeans, had told FIFA of our plan to wear the armband months ago, but we never heard back from them. Timing, quote, of their intervention, in parentheses, seemed deliberate. National team director Oliver Bierhoff added, quote, FIFA's behavior is frustrating for us. This escalation means it's not about sport. We are angry. It's a difficult situation for Manuel Neuer, too. We didn't want to go it alone. Manuel is disappointed. He wanted to wear the armband. We don't see it as a political statement, but a fundamental right, which should be beyond debate, end quote. So, and then it goes into the background of FIFA launching their own armband initiative. Captains asked to wear a different armband each day, promoting the social messages. Once again, today's is no discrimination. It was brought forward. It was supposed to be in the round of 16, but now no discrimination is what you saw on Harry Kane when the match started. Football unites the world. Share the meal in a UN-backed campaign. Countries could have faced sanctions, including the sporting nature, the yellow card. Kane wore the armband in both Nations League matches in September. In that same month, the FA wrote to FIFA to say that they intended to support the campaign at the World Cup, and at one point there was optimism that the nations would receive formal permission to wear the design. Started prior to Euro 2020, supported by Belgium, Denmark, Germany, England, France, Netherlands, Norway, Wales, Sweden, and Switzerland. And the campaign was initially started by the Dutch Football Association, who say that the creators want to express their support for unification of all people, and at the same time they want to speak out against all forms of discrimination. The armband, which does not, this is Honigstein's words, The armband, which does not specifically reference homophobia or any other forms of discrimination, is a multicolored design with the words "One Love" and a number 1 inside a heart. So that is from Rafa Honigstein this morning when it comes to the armband and the German and the German national team perspective on it. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Once again, going through other couple of things before we end hour number 1 and head into hour number 2. We'll talk about this match, England and Iran, 5-1 with 10 minutes to go. We'll talk about the other 2 matches, what you think is going to happen today. Once again, the biggest question that I have for all of you, once again, as I once again withdraw previous statements. What are you the most concerned about, and what are you the most confident about when it comes to the USMNT versus Wales? That's your concerns and confidence when it comes to the match this afternoon at 2:00. So, and Abby, the current player was down for Iran, was off the field for the throw, and then came on the field to go down. Okay, that's yeah, okay. The liberal interpretations of how to stop play, slow down play, etc. Jonathan Tannenwald has the streaming schedule for everything that is going on today. And just to let you know, foxsports.com, in addition to everything, foxsports.com, and that's good. If you don't subscribe, then it blows you out. Okay. So I was going to sit there and tell you about Telemundo's coverage and all that kind of stuff, but you need to subscribe to the Philadelphia Inquirer. Otherwise, it bumps you out of everything. So Telemundo is where I watch. You can catch everything else on Peacock. I think Tubi is part and parcel to what's going on here as well. So we'll see what else is up and running with all the other matches. Okay, so also the joint statement that was released by 2, 4, 6, 7 nations, frustrated by the FIFA decision, which we believe is unprecedented. Once again, reminding the people that they wrote to FIFA in September, informing them of their wish to wear the armband to actively support inclusion football, and had no response. Our players are coaches are disappointed, strong supporters of inclusion, and will show support in other ways. So that came out very, very early this morning as well. So sporting sanctions, and that was where we ended up getting all of the information that came down like at 5:00 this morning. And the 8th corner for England with 6 minutes to go, players down, 1 on each side, inside the area just outside the 6. And it looks like who is down? 1 player each, and then we're going to get a replay from the high cam. It looks like on goal number 5, are we going to see the collision which created goal number 5? That was the block. Okay, so once again, 5 minutes to go, and we'll see what is going on there. Nico Cantor said that when UEFA didn't permit the Allianz Arena to display the rainbow colors at the Euro, the restraint was possibly made on political grounds, since the mayor of Munich made it explicit it was in solidarity of the LGBTQ community in Hungary, therefore opposing a right-wing Hungarian law for the World Cup captain armbands. It falls in more of a gray area, according to this is Nico Cantor. Basic human rights and equality seems like a standard everyone should have at this point in human history. Does FIFA side with the host country or with captains who celebrate the civil rights of their nation? So that's what you're staring at with that particular element in all of this. All right, so let's get into other news. Once again, coming up, Senegal, Netherlands, USA, and Wales. 5 minutes to go before any kind of added time in this match, which is 5-1. 64 years for Wales to make it back to the World Cup. So once again, I imagine that they got a very, very full motivational speech with everything that was needed with their return. News this morning, actually. We have news out of Scotland, and kind of did it behind the World Cup. Gio van Bronckhorst was sacked by Rangers after 1 year in charge at Ibrox. Rangers won the Scottish Cup, got to the Europa League final last season under van Bronckhorst, led him into the Champions League group stage this season, but lost all 6 group stage matches, 9 points behind Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. And they they lost 7-1 to Liverpool at home, and understood no decision's been made on the future of the Rangers backroom side. Dave Voss, Roy Mackay, Arno Phillips, Yori Boschart all joined alongside Van Bronckhorst last November, while former City Football Group coach Siri Bowley arrived in the summer. However, like previous managerial changes at Ibrox, expected those who arrived with the Dutchman will depart. Van Bronckhorst signed a 3.5-year deal to replace Steven Gerrard last November, becomes one of the shortest-serving permanent managers in club history, with only Pedro Caixinha and Paul Le Gant departing sooner. Scottish Premiership obviously is on hold because of the World Cup. Rangers' next match is against Hibs at Ibrox on the 15th of December. Rangers' statement from Chairman Douglas Park, who was part and parcel to the release of this statement. He says, Rangers Football Club confirms that they parted company with Gio van Bronckhorst. The board would like to put on record sincere thanks to Gio for all his efforts since appointment as manager. Now, paragraph 2. Arriving at the club just over a year ago, Gio led the club to a 5th European final, won the Scottish Cup last May, also led the team to the club's first Champions League qualification in 12 years. Unfortunately, results and performances over recent months haven't met expectations, and the decision was made today by the board to terminate the contract of the manager. The search for the new manager is now underway. Chairman Douglas Park wants to thank Gio for the hard work he's put in over the last 12 months, and especially the achievements of taking the club to the Europa League final and winning the Scottish Cup last season. Unfortunately, recent results have not met neither our nor Gio's expectations. We have taken this difficult decision today. Everyone at Rangers wishes Gio every success in the future. Third shortest all time when it comes to permanent managers. I mean, you've had other managers who were interims. Ian Durant was 6 days in 2007. David McCallum, 11 days in 2021 before Gio van Bronckhorst was hired. So, yeah, Caixinha and Paul Le Gant were the others that were there before. So, who could replace van Bronckhorst? And that's the larger question here. Is it Gerrard? Somebody who wants to start their career, and Jack Grealish is now on the board. So it's 6 for England in the 90th minute. Once again, on the sprint back in transition with the game being what it was. Chris Boyd wouldn't rule out anybody. So no doubt Rangers can't afford the wages of somebody like a Sean Dyche or a Ralph Hasenhüttl. Obviously, someone that he would look at, meaning Chris Boyd, would be Michael Beale. Turned down the Wolves job, currently at QPR. Turned down the Wolves job, and Rangers fans for what he's done under Gerrard, they remember that. We're extremely proud. Sean Dyche would want to rule the dressing room, manage it properly. So when you look at the players and the discipline on the field, it hasn't been great. So Michael Beale and Sean Dyche would be the two that you're staring at when it comes to just internal thoughts from those who have played for the club before. Draw at St. Mirren 2 weeks ago. Uphill task to overhaul the 9-point lead that Celtic has in the Premiership. No European football to look forward to after the World Cup break, after the Champions League campaign. They're going to have plenty to think about when it comes to the match against Hibs. So recruitment regression, European embarrassment, fans frustration, and injury impact. So that's what you're looking at. Return to training on Monday, week from today, following the World Cup break, facing Bayer Leverkusen December 10th on a friendly. Then you come back 5 days later. The domestic league form, according to Alan Valente at Sky, was what cost Van Bronckhorst the job. First Scottish Cup win, 13 years, beating Hearts at Hampton in May, 3 days after losing the shootout to Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League final. So, you're looking at that. So when Jarrett pops in, we will discuss what is what's going on with Rangers. So once again, we'll look at that. So once again, questions of the day. 10 minutes added. 10 minutes added for England and Iran. Seriously? So in the two halves, it's 24 minutes added on. One for concussions and then obviously substitutions. 24 added minutes. Come on, people. It's a 6-1 match. It's a 6-1 match. 10 minutes added. Come on. Seriously. I was going to say you can't be serious, but you know that they can. Unbelievable. Okay. Let's get into gossip and show you what's going on here. Once again, 10 minutes added. Goodness gracious. Spurs are keeping tabs on Everton and England U21 winger Anthony Gordon before the transfer window. That's from Football London. Fabrizio Romano, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain expected to leave Liverpool as a free agent in the summer. They wanted to sell, they meaning Liverpool, wanted to sell the midfielder for £10 million last summer, but couldn't agree on a deal with any club. That's from the Mirror. Barcelona Netherlands midfielder Frenkie de Jong says the La Liga club were responsible for leaking details of his contract to the media. That's from The Telegraph via the Mirror. De Jong and Marc-Andre ter Stegen have been contacted by Barca about lowering their salaries to help the club's financial situation. Mundo Deportivo. So, of course, sure, we'll chase after Erling Haaland, but no, Frenkie de Jong, you and ter Stegen, you got to lower your salaries. You got to do us a solid. Borussia Dortmund will not sell West Ham and Leeds target Rafael Guerreiro before the Portugal's left-back contract runs out at the end of the year. That's from Bild. Chelsea are concerned Romelu Lukaku's lack of match time at the World Cup could affect his striker value when they try to sell him after a season-long loan at Inter Milan. Lukaku's been ruled out of his country's first two matches. That's from the Daily Standard. Manchester United close to handing Argentina U20 forward Alejandro Garnacho, 18, a new £50,000 a week contract. That's from one of the four-letter papers, so take that at your own peril. Louis van Gaal, now the manager of the Netherlands, says he wanted to sign Sadio Mane during his time in charge at Old Trafford. Luis Suarez has turned down an offer from Grêmio because the Uruguayan will join an MLS side, the Brazilian club's manager has said. That one comes from Bild. West Ham United, keen to sign Sevilla's Moroccan forward Youssef En-Nesyri in January. That's from our friends at Calcio Mercato. Aston Villa have a concrete interest, concrete in quotation marks, in bringing Villarreal Nigeria winger Samuel Chukwueze to Villa Park in the January transfer window. That's from our friends at Football Insider. Marko Arnautovic, content to have rejected repeated approaches from Manchester United in the summer, although his family wanted him to move from Bologna. That's from Austrian papers. Dinamo Moscow Russia midfielder Arsene Zakarian's agent has called Chelsea's interest in the 19-year-old a rather complex story. That's from our friends at Championat. AC Milan considering a loan move in January for Hakim Ziyech and an approach next summer for the Blues' 21-year-old Albanian forward Armando Broja. That's from Corriere dello Sport. Milan are also interested in Chelsea's English midfielder Ruben Loftus-Cheek after he impressed him in the Champions League at Stamford Bridge. Lucien Favre will stay in charge of Nice until the end of the season, despite his future being called into question. That is from our friends at L'Equipe. Let's check and see what's going on in the British papers and get you ready for transfers and anything else that's going on. Cristiano Ronaldo, our national nightmare. It's the three-letter paper, so I'm not going to talk about it if it's there. A lot of stuff coming out of the three-letter paper this morning. Riot police, according to our friends at the Daily Mirror, riot police were called in to tackle crowd chaos at the FIFA Fan Fest just as the tournament kicked off. Liverpool reportedly will allow Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to leave. Virgil van Dijk reached out to Sadio Mane after the Dutchman's former Liverpool teammate saw his World Cup dream cruelly ended. Daily Telegraph, TeamViewer are under mounting pressure to pull the plug on their £235 million shirt sponsorship deal with Manchester United. Avoiding what's going on with the four-letter paper at The Athletic, Tyler Adams named captain of the USMNT. What do you guys think about that with Tyler Adams as your captain? The Times, Rangers star Borna Barisic insists he will not complain if he's dropped from Croatia's World Cup opener against Morocco this week. Also from the Daily Express, Tottenham looks set to make a move for Ruslan Malinovsky in the new year, with both Paratici and Conte reportedly in agreement on chasing the Ukrainian international signature. Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy has appeared to advocate the Blues making a move from Memphis Depay in the near future, regarding the striker as world class. Javier Mascherano has denied suggestions Manchester United youngster Alejandro Garnacho was overlooked for Argentina's World Cup squad due to an attitude problem. The Guardian, Anthony Martial involved in an angry confrontation with a Manchester United youth team player during a training session last week overseen by Erik ten Hag. And in the Scottish papers, Fashion Sakala taken to social media to confirm he's absolutely fine after rumors surrounding the Rangers star spread online. Kenny McLean has emerged for a transfer target for Rangers. It's being reported Celtic could be set to land a January windfall thanks to former striker Moussa Dembele. And Daily Record striker Jerry Yates admitted it's a nice feeling to be linked with clubs like Rangers, with support suggesting Blackpool are ready to sell their star. So that is your gossip, rumor, innuendo. Who could be moving, who could be staying, all those kinds of things. At least that's it for today. So we'll have a lot of stuff to continue to talk about when it comes to all the gossip when all the players are moving around. And so we're getting incredibly close to the end of the match. 2.5 minutes left, which should have ended 7.5 minutes ago. England leading Iran by the score of 6-1. And it was 3 in the first half, 3 in the second. In by himself off the crossbar, a chance for Iran to get a second goal on the board. Jordan Pickford made himself rather large, and so it is still 6-1. Got in just behind the defense. Open spaces, they were looking for an offside flag. Pickford got a hand on it. So Jordan Pickford gets a hand on it, getting past John Stones. Hand on it off the crossbar, so it's still 6-1, 2 minutes to go. So that's where we go. Abby, as always, thanks for coming in. And got to decide where you're watching the game and get out of your PJs. Go US. It'll be good to see you tomorrow as well. So thanks for hanging out with us when it comes to today. We're going to be doing this, like I said, we're going to be doing this every day this week. Normal time, Monday, Tuesday. Dylan Butler will end us on Wednesday. Looks like Poppy Miller might be joining us tomorrow at 10. So it'll be good to catch up with her in CBS Sports and see what's going on with her, what her thoughts are on the World Cup, what her thoughts have been on Serie A and the road trips and everything. One of the busiest people in show business, Poppy Miller, slated to join us tomorrow from CBS Sports HQ, Paramount Plus, and their coverage of Serie A. And so once again, daily recaps at the end of each day, and Thursday, just the daily recap. And also, you might have noticed on the timeline that our friends from the Fired Up Network in Canada, they are in, for those of you that to get to listen to things on the app. Fired Up is our friends based in Toronto, and they will be looking at things from a Canadian perspective on a daily basis. So you'll be getting Canada men's national team analysis from Joseph Pasek, Giancarlo Alino, Carmen Asako, who is one of the best youth coaches in Canada, and Alpha Blassis, one of the media legends in the Toronto area that's a part of it as well. And the first show that we released over the weekend was the World Cup preview, and Kamal Miller joined the show from Qatar. So it was good to catch up with Kamal, who was sitting in a hotel room after training, and it was in the middle of the evening, and it was Kamal Miller joining everybody on the Fired Up Network. So you'll see Fired Up Network stuff popping up on the network as well when it comes to the end of the day. And so in the 100th minute, we have a VAR review for a possible penalty. A VAR review for a possible penalty in the 100th minute. They're looking at it, trying to see what it looks like. Is it a penalty on the defense For England, I don't think there's a whole lot in it. Play it through. Maybe a tug as Jordan Pickford cleared it. So in the 100th minute, we are getting a look at a possible penalty for Iran. And he gave it. Okay. So probably your last act of this match is a penalty kick for Iran against Jordan Pickford. I will maintain once again, all of this aside, that this game should not have gone this far. Bit of a tug and a pull down, and Jordan Pickford punched and cleared it. So I guess what it was there for the second individual who tugged it. They get a PK call. So, yeah, really the 114th. Yeah, well, but remember, David, they got in all their subs. So not everybody played every minute. Yeah, so we'll see here. It really is the 114th. So 59, and 55. Yeah, 114th. So let's see what happens here. 6-1 penalty. Clock's now on the 103rd minute. We're all waiting, breathlessly anticipating what's going on. Still no whistle. Intently staring at the idea of a penalty kick. I believe we now have a whistle. Bit of a run up. 6-2. Okay. So 6-2. That's going to be your final. The margin's back to 4 when it comes to goal difference. And so we'll keep an eye on that. And so that's where we are with that match. And so if someone could please blow a whistle, that would be fantastic. And so apparently the Dutch are starting someone who is 6'8" in goal. 6'8". 6'8" guy in goal for the Dutch. So we'll keep an eye on that. So, okay. So 6-2 final. Kirosh, Southgate, handshakes. Congratulations. And you're done. So, yeah, Tarim's got the second goal off the PK. And so there you go. 6-2 full time. Taremi got them both, 65th and at 90 plus 13. So in the 114th minute. All right, so England has put up a marker in the group. And so that's where we are with that one. So the first match of the day is done. And once again, your juice box is going in. Not a surprise that you had a large number on England's side. They were at a minus 263, and they pushed it through. Senegal, once again, Netherlands are now up to a minus 152. Senegal's north of plus 500. Your draws of plus 270. Rest of the action today, you've got a lot of U21 stuff going on in England and in Belgium with tournaments. Serie C, Pescata, if you're really into hardcore Italian soccer. National League stuff, lower division stuff in England this afternoon. La Liga 2 in Spain. Bolivia, Jamaica's Premier League is going on at 5 o'clock if you can find it, and at 7:30. And in Colombia, Primera B is going on at 8 o'clock. That'll shut your night. That'll be the last one of the evening. But, yeah, Jamaican Premier League for you really hardcore folks. And I don't know if you can get it at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. But that is what you're staring at today when it comes to the rest of your action. So, once again, staring at, you look at your lineups, and I know that we've all been staring at what we were looking at, and I know we have concerns, and we've talked about them all this morning. So looking forward to it when it comes to the U.S. getting ready to play, and it means that the World Cup is officially official when it comes to everything going on. And looking at the talk on social media about the penalty, Tom Rennie on Twitter, for those of you that listen to Talk Sport and Week in the Tackle with Brian Dunseth. One's a penalty, McGuire isn't. And so, once again, the VAR in and of itself, surprising no one, consistently inconsistent. Let me check, David. Let me check the numbers on that. So, David, once again, with another question, and so we will check. I want to post the question first. So, okay, what odds would 7+ goals have gotten you? So, let's take a peek, shall we? All right. So, looking at this match. All right. So, let's go over/under. Over-unders with England and Iran. Okay, it stopped. Over-under at 6.5, 3,700. It actually went down. Your over-under of 6 at 4,000. Over-under 6.5, you've started to go back down on the bell curve. Over-under 6.5 plus 3,700. Plus 3,700 on that number for the total for this particular match. Yeah. And the fact that it was at 6, it was at plus 4,000. And at 6.5, you go back down the bell curve. I've never seen that. I have never seen that before. So that is unique in and of itself, that you had something going on right there. And there was 6.5 was the last number posted. 6.5, the last number posted. Here's your progression, just to give you an idea. Plus 4.5 was 766. Plus 5, 1711. This is a composite. Once again, this is about 17 different odds makers. Juicebox purveyors, that piece this together. And the thing is that the majority of them stopped at plus 4.5. You really had to find some folks to put that number up. Only 3 juice boxers had it at plus 1711. Only 3 would go north of 4.5. 6 actually punched the number at 5.5 at plus 1605. Only 1 juice box, Cool Bet, went to plus 4,000. Then the 6.5 at plus 3,700. Bet365, BWin, Cool Bet, and 1X. So those are the 4. But yeah, I've never seen something start, get to a peak, and then go back down the other side. So that's the first time I've ever seen that. But yeah, so you had 4 juice boxers go to plus 3,700 on the downside of the bell curve. What's up, 4Card? Here's what we're talking about this morning. Concerns and confidence with the men's national team and what they look like against Wales. What's your starting 11, what you're talking about, and the last person that I'm going to really want to even see on my television is Skip Bayless. So we're changing the channel off to the left. So, yes. So, yeah, nice payday for the insane. That is definitely the way to look at it. Nice payday for the insane. That's probably a hashtag, payday for the insane. Yeah, so plus 3,700. So since we are at this particular point of the show, we've gone well past the hour mark. I know I forgot to do something. So let's go here and go here and lower the music. Get it down to like 20 because you guys say that's where it's supposed to be. And hit the music. It's that time. Time to read a promo. For odor-free, clean, fresh air, one place that you need to go, it's Lemonize Service. The Lemonize Service deodorizes enclosed spaces like houses, apartments, and condos, creating a customized solution that eliminizes all organic odors, including those like pets, cigarettes, and food. Realtors and property managers use the Lemonize Service to eliminate bad odors to help them sell or rent their homes that much faster. Turnkey process, it makes it easy to work with realtors and property managers, kind of the environment, offering a very green way going about things. Get rid of odors without any kind of toxic residue whatsoever. Different than Febreze or our favorite masking agent that we have either under the sink or above us in the cupboard. Because when we reach under the sink or above us in the cupboard and bring out the masking agent and spray it in the air, there's a reason that they call it a masking agent, because you're just masking the odor. You're not attacking the problem all the way down to the molecule like our friends at the Lemonize Service do. Pricing very, very easy, one of 2 ways, either by the cubic foot or parts per million, to come up with a price that's very, very affordable for you. Offering results in 24 hours or less. Any questions that you need to have answered, frequently asked or otherwise, one place you need to go. It's the website. This is where, once again, I pick up my pen. Eliminize.com, but do us a favor after the .com goes /Atlanta. Eliminize.com /Atlanta. ELIMINIZ.com /Atlanta for odor-free, clean, fresh air. Eliminize Service, proud sponsors of everything SDH on a Monday, where the host country is off and running for the World Cup. And they've got one match down, two more to go. And then this is after today. This is when we start the three matches, the 5, the 8, the 11, and the 2 Eastern time. Remember, it's 8 hours difference between the East Coast and Qatar. So the host country is going to have 4 matches a day. So when we come back tomorrow and Wednesday, we will have 2 matches to talk about, get you ready for match 3 and match number 4. And once again, slated to have Poppy Miller joining us tomorrow morning at 10 to break things down from her perspective. Dylan Butler joining us Wednesday, and we will try and track down Nico Moreno. So we have Thursdays with Nico on a Wednesday because we want him to spend time with his family as well on a Thanksgiving Thursday. And so once again, we will be back doing all of our normal stuff as we always do. And except for Thursdays, just because of it being a holiday. Don't forget Friday at Wild Heaven. It'll be fun to catch up with everybody there and see everyone and talk about stuff because Black Friday, I've heard there's a match that's going to be happening between the United States and somebody. So we'll see what's going on there. Any other questions that you guys have before we put a bow on today? And so that's another thing that has just come across from a Christophe Terreur, who is a football correspondent in Europe. Belgium have the word love embroidered on the collar of their World Cup away kit. FIFA have asked to remove it. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So will it be removed from the kit? Football Association CEO says to critically review the relationship with FIFA after the Red Devils play without the One Love armband and have to adjust their white shirt. Eden Hazard will not wear the armband. Peter Bossart tells Belgium it will revisit its relationship with FIFA. I'm gonna go chalk. I think that Switzerland gets it done once again. So let me put this in play for everybody else. So four cards question, picks for the rest of today's games. I'm going to go chalk. And I know that that's a real surprise. I think that once again, David and his daughter played FIFA, and it was a goal in the 80th minute for the U.S. to win 1-0. I think that's probably going to happen something really, really late. And so I'll go chalk. Yeah, I know. I was expecting draws. I know. It's the World Cup. Be a little different. Okay, so the story from HLN in the Netherlands. Hazard wore the One Love band against Egypt, planning to play with the band in Qatar. It'll be a regular captain's armband, according to a statement. And the statement from Peter Bossart, he's Peter, and this is translated. Peter Bossart, the CEO of the Football Association, is not amused. Quote, "We've been in solidarity with the participating countries all along by wearing the band. You can't just break that solidarity now. England was the first country to play after the sanction was announced. It is sportingly unfair to ask them to resist that pressure from FIFA." Bossart finds it completely incomprehensible that the Red Devils will have to adjust their shirt. The word love was embroidered on the collar, must be removed, says FIFA. Quote, from Bossart, "There was simply no consultation possible." So Hugo Lloris was the first to indicate that he would not play with the band after all. Manuel Neuer wanted to stand firm, but they asked the keeper, but the German Football Association asked the keeper to choose a different band. Our players and trainers are very disappointed, the statement said. They stand for inclusion and will now try to support the cause in other ways. And so then you have the incredibly generic statements that are going to be working their way through. From HLN, Gilles de Bild, Find it especially painful and a missed opportunity that Belgium is now also planning not to wear the One Love band. Made the decision in consultation with Germany, Netherlands, England, among others. Question was put to FIFA. Now, there was a lot of pressure from FIFA, but especially from Qatar, to play without the ban. Threats of various sanctions from the football associations ranged from a yellow card for the captain to even an obligation to leave the field. And that's why the countries have come up with a joint statement, end quote. So, once again, as we kind of tour here and see what's going on, can't really say that anybody is all that surprised. So, inconsistency with VAR. And matches later coming up top of the hour, and you have a lot of stuff going on here. So once again, juice boxes one more time before we go for the matches today. Senegal and the Netherlands coming up top of the hour. Netherlands are still creeping up a little further. They're at a minus 154 in the composite. Senegal's basically a plus 512. USA is a plus 142. Wales is a plus 229. And your draw is a plus 210. So that is the rundown of everything going on so far today. Let me check once again the wires one more time before we end up going forward. And I think we're good to go. So once again, thanks to all of you guys. 24 minutes of added time. That is just out of control. But thanks to all you guys for hanging out with us today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We will have this match to discuss. We will have the other matches to discuss. Last time I checked, the U.S. are playing somebody this afternoon. So we'll talk about USA and Wales. We'll have all that to talk about tomorrow. We'll have a lot of other stuff going on. So once again, thanks for hanging out with me and making the worldly competition from the host nation go as quickly as it has. So since it is the end of the show, that means that I get to do this. Play it safe, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow. Enjoy your match this afternoon, wherever you watch it. Be safe, get home safely, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. So since it is the end of the show, that means I get to do this. Mucha plata, y'all. We'll catch up with you tomorrow here on SDH.